the level one concept of the article that we both wrote. So we talked about level one and how these people are, think of division three assistants, tier three head coaches, tier three assistant coaches, people that don't have a ton of perceived value in the coaching space. And that's going to depend on your perceived values, dependent on one, your competence, and we'll get into this, but two, the other person on the other side perceiving it. And there's this level 20 archetype that we talked about in the article, and then there's a level 50 archetype. So we'll kind of highlight those quickly, and then we'll jump into kind of the meat of this. So the level 20 archetype is a coach that, let's say they played in the AHL, they finished their playing career in the AHL, and their first job is at just a more relevant level of hockey. So call it, they started the USHL assistant. The level 20s are the people that are finite minded, they're more transactional, and they kind of, the level 20s in our example essentially stay level 20s. They get stuck, and they get stuck based on their inability to relate, their inability to connect with others, and their refusal to kind of look for the best level ones and pull them up. And then we have the level 50s, and they're the infinite minded people. So the level 50s are, and I just posted an article today, I'll put it in the show notes, and we are building on top of what me and Mikhail wrote about. And essentially, it was an example of Logic and hip hop artist, not the word. So Logic signs this 14-year-old kid after a concert. He pulled him up on stage, and the level 50 in him was recognizing, regardless of his age, what he was about. He was just a random kid in the crowd, but he saw and he felt potential and opportunity in this kid. And he saw what most people probably would just brush off. And it looks like a great story now on YouTube Shorts. But he really felt something, connected to this kid, saw himself in the person, and then pulled that person up. And now he's a producer for Logic, works for his record label, and he's now like 14 years old. So that's kind of the level 20 and the level 50. Again, you can pause this, read that article for more context, and then come back to us. And what we're essentially trying to tee up is this idea that the level 50s know where they came from and had the experience of a level 1. Most of the level 50s that we've at least interacted with, and we'll speak to some of those guys, started as level 1 coaches. They started as D3 assistants, guys in tier 3. Think of a guy like John Cooper. Everyone's kind of familiar with that story in hockey. So they don't lose perspective on where they came from, and they very much remember where they came